Here's something most men will never figure out on their own. By the time you work up the courage to ask a woman out, she already decided weeks ago whether she'd say yes or no. You didn't choose her. She chose you. And she's been screaming it at you in a language you were never taught to hear. Today, I'm going to teach you that language. And honestly, once you understand it, you'll realize just how many times in your life a woman was practically handing you the green light while you stood there wondering if she even knew your name. So, let me say something that might sting a little, but it's the truth and it comes from a place of love. Most men are absolutely hilariously blind to the signals women send. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it as a fact backed by actual research. A study published in the journal Psychological Science found that men correctly identify a woman's romantic interest only about 36% of the time. That means roughly 2 out of every 3 times a woman is showing interest, the guy completely misses it. 2 out of 3. That's worse than a coin flip. That's worse than guessing. And here's what makes this even more painful. Women don't usually announce their feelings with a megaphone. We don't walk up to you and say, "Hey, I've chosen you. Here's a certificate. Congratulations." No. We communicate through quiet, almost invisible shifts in behavior. Tiny details. Details so small that if you blink, you'll miss them entirely. But here's the thing. Those small details, they're the most honest signals you'll ever receive. Because words can be rehearsed, words can be polite, words can be lies. But these silent behaviors come from a place so instinctive, so automatic, that most women don't even realize they're doing them. And that's exactly what I'm going to break down for you today. Not the obvious stuff everyone talks about, not the hair flipping and the giggling. I'm talking about the real, raw, unfiltered signs that a woman has already made her decision about you before you even had a clue there was a decision being made. Some of these are going to surprise you. Some of these are going to make you think back to moments in your life and go, oh no, she was into me. And yes, it's going to hurt a little, but better late than never. Right now, before I get into the first detail, let me tell you something crucial. There's one sign on this list, I'll get to it toward the end, that is so counterintuitive, so backwards from what you'd expect that most men actually interpret it as rejection, and it's the strongest sign of all. So stick around for that one because it might completely change how you read every interaction you've had with a woman. She remembers things you forgot you even said. This is the first silent detail, and it's one that flies completely under the radar. If a woman has already chosen you, she will remember the smallest, most throwaway comments you've made. You mentioned once 3 weeks ago in passing that you prefer iced coffee over hot coffee. Guess what she's going to bring you the next time she shows up? Iced coffee. You told a story about your dog from childhood and casually said his name was Biscuit. 2 months later, she'll reference Biscuit in conversation, and you'll be standing there wondering if she has a photographic memory or if the FBI trained her. She doesn't have a photographic memory. She has something more powerful. She has emotional investment in you. When a woman has already chosen you, your words carry weight. Everything you say gets filed away, categorized, and stored because to her, the details of your life matter. Dr. Helen Fisher, a biological anthropologist who spent decades studying love, explains that when someone is romantically interested, the brain releases dopamine in response to information about that person. Your brain literally rewards you for paying attention to someone you've chosen. So, when she remembers that you hate olives on your pizza, or that your favorite movie is something embarrassingly bad from 2003, it's not because she's a stalker, it's because her brain is chemically rewarding her for learning about you. And here's the kicker. She'll often try to downplay how much she remembers. She'll say things like, "Oh, I think you mentioned that once." When in reality, she remembers the exact day, the exact context, and probably what you were wearing. If a woman consistently remembers your small details, she didn't just hear you, she chose you. She adjusts her schedule without you asking. This one is huge, and most men never even notice it. When a woman has already chosen you, she starts rearranging her time around yours, and she does it so smoothly, so naturally, that it looks effortless. But trust me, it's not effortless. It's extremely intentional. She suddenly has free time on the same days you do. She starts going to the same coffee shop you mentioned you frequent. She shifts her lunch break to overlap with yours. She's not being creepy. She's engineering proximity. Because here's a truth about women that most men don't understand. We don't leave things to chance when we've made a choice. If a woman wants to be around you, she will find a way to be around you while making it look completely accidental. There's actually a term for this in social psychology. It's called the proximity effect, and research by psychologist Robert Zion showed that mere repeated exposure to someone increases our attraction to them. Women instinctively understand this. We know that the more time we spend near you, the more natural our presence feels in your life. So if you notice that a particular woman keeps happening to be wherever you are, that's not a coincidence. That's a campaign. A beautifully orchestrated, carefully executed campaign. And here's the funny part. If you bring it up, she'll act surprised. Oh, wow, you come here too. That's so random. No, Mum, it is not random. You drove 20 minutes out of your way for this particular smoothie shop, but we appreciate the effort. We really do. She tells you things she doesn't usually tell people. Pay very close attention to this one because it's one of the most intimate, silent signals a woman can give. When a woman has already chosen you, she starts sharing pieces of herself that she normally keeps locked away, and she'll often preface it with exactly that phrase. I don't usually tell people this, but that sentence right there, that's not just a sentence, that's a key. She is literally telling you that she's opening a door she keeps closed for most people, and she's inviting you inside. She's testing whether you're safe, whether you'll handle her vulnerability with care. And the fact that she's willing to take that risk means she's already decided you're worth it. This could be something from her past, something about her family, an insecurity she carries, a fear she hasn't voiced out loud in years. It doesn't matter what the content is. What matters is the act itself. Vulnerability is currency in a woman's emotional world, and she doesn't spend it on just anyone. Dr. Beanie Brown, who spent over 2 decades researching vulnerability, has said that vulnerability is not weakness. It's the most accurate measurement of courage. So, when a woman opens up to you in a way that clearly makes her a little uncomfortable, she's not being weak. She's being incredibly brave. And she's being brave specifically for you because she's already chosen you as someone worthy of that bravery. Now, here's what separates the men who keep her from the men who lose her. What you do with that information. If you dismiss it, make a joke at the wrong time, or change the subject because you're uncomfortable, you just failed the test you didn't know you were taking. But if you listen, really listen, and respond with genuine care, you just confirmed every reason she chose you in the first place. She gets slightly awkward around you and only you. Okay, this one is going to sound contradictory, but hear me out. If a woman is normally confident, socially smooth, and completely at ease with everyone else, but turns into a slightly clumsy, occasionally tongue-tied, weirdly nervous version of herself around you, congratulations, she's chosen you. Most men think that if a woman is interested, she'll be extra smooth, extra charming, extra put together. And sure, some women are, but many women, especially the ones who've genuinely caught feelings, actually become worse at being cool around the person they want because the stakes are higher. She doesn't care if the random guy at the bar thinks she's smooth, but she desperately cares about what you think. And that pressure creates beautiful, hilarious little glitches in her composure. She might laugh a little too loudly at something that wasn't that funny. She might trip over her words mid-sentence and then overcompensate by talking too fast. She might fidget with her jewellery, touch her face more often, or suddenly forget how to stand naturally. These are all stress responses. But they're not bad stress. They're the kind of stress your body produces when something really, really matters to you. A study from the University of Chicago found that people who are emotionally invested in an outcome experience heightened self-monitoring, which often leads to decreased performance in social situations. In plain English, when you care too much, you get clumsy. So, If a woman who is normally the life of the party suddenly becomes a bit of a mess around you, don't misread that as disinterest. That is interest at its most raw and honest. And honestly, it's adorable. If you see it happening, be kind about it. Don't point it out. Just let her be human. That's one of the most attractive things you can do. She defends you when you're not in the room. This is one of the most powerful silent details, and you might never even know it's happening unless someone tells you. When a woman has already chosen you, she becomes your silent advocate. If someone talks badly about you, makes fun of you, or questions your character in her presence, she will shut it down. Not dramatically, not with a big scene, but firmly. She'll say things like, "That's not fair, you don't know him the way I do." Or, "Actually, he's not what you think." She'll correct the narrative about you in rooms you'll never enter with people you might never meet. And she won't tell you about it because she's not doing it for credit. She's doing it because when a woman has chosen you, your reputation becomes something she protects instinctively. This is rooted in something evolutionary psychologists call martyr-guarding behavior. And while it's more commonly studied in men, women exhibit it too, just differently. Men tend to guard through physical proximity and possessiveness. Women guard through social reinforcement. They build you up in social circles. They make sure people see you the way she sees you. And that, my friend, is love in its most silent and selfless form. If someone ever casually tells you, "Oh, she always speaks so highly of you," pay attention to that. That's not a small thing. That's a woman who has already made her choice and is actively protecting it. She notices when something is off with you before you've said a word. This is the one that genuinely separates interest from investment. When a woman has chosen you, she develops an almost eerie ability to read your emotional state. You walk into a room, you haven't said anything, you're smiling, you're acting totally normal, and she looks at you and says, "What's wrong?" And you stand there baffled because nothing about your behavior was different. But she saw it. She saw the micro-expression that lasted a fraction of a second. She noticed that your smile didn't reach your eyes. She felt the shift in your energy that nobody else in the room registered. This isn't magic. This is hyper-attention. When a woman has emotionally invested in you, her brain becomes attuned to your patterns. She learns your baseline, how you normally walk, talk, laugh, respond. And when something deviates from that baseline, even by a fraction, she picks up on it immediately. Research from the University of Cambridge has shown that women on average score higher than men on empathy and emotional recognition tasks. And this ability becomes even more pronounced when there's personal emotional investment involved. So when she texts you out of nowhere and says, "Hey, are you okay? You seemed a little off today," and you wonder how on earth she could tell. That's not a lucky guess. That's a woman who has studied you so carefully that she notices things about you that even you haven't noticed about yourself. And now the counterintuitive one I promised you. She pulls away right when things start to feel real. I told you I'd save this one, and I told you it would surprise you. This is the sign that most men interpret as rejection, but it's actually the strongest signal of all. When a woman has genuinely chosen you, not just casually, not just for fun, but chosen you in a way that scares her, she will sometimes pull back. She'll get a little distant. She'll take longer to respond. She'll seem slightly less available, and your first instinct will be to think she's losing interest. But here's what's actually happening. She's terrified because choosing someone is terrifying. Real emotional investment is terrifying. And when a woman realizes that she's in deeper than she planned, her defense mechanisms kick in. She pulls back not because she doesn't want you, but because she wants you too much, and that vulnerability feels dangerous. It's a form of self-preservation. Attachment theory, developed by psychologist John Bowlby and later expanded by Mary Ainsworth, explains this beautifully. People with certain attachment styles, particularly anxious or fearful avoidance styles, often withdraw when emotional intimacy increases because closeness triggers their deepest fears of rejection or loss. It's not logical, it's primal. And it's not a sign that she doesn't care. It's a sign that she cares so much it overwhelms her. So if a woman who was previously warm, attentive, and present suddenly creates a little distance and there's no other explanation for it, don't panic. Don't chase aggressively, but don't disappear either. Give her space while making it clear that you're still there. That balance, that's what makes her feel safe enough to come back. And when she does come back, she comes back fully. So here's what I need you to take away from everything I just shared. Women communicate their choice through behaviour, not declarations. The signs are quiet. The signs are subtle. And most of them happen in spaces you're not paying attention to. But now you know. Now you know what to look for. The remembered details, the rearranged schedules, the uncharacteristic awkwardness, the silent defence, the emotional radar, and yes, even the confusing pullback. These aren't random behaviours. These are the fingerprints of a decision she's already made. And the most beautiful part, she probably doesn't even realise she's doing half of these things. That's how you know they're real. The most honest signals are the ones we don't consciously control. So the next time you're wondering whether a woman is interested, stop looking for the big, obvious gestures. Start paying attention to the quiet ones, because the truth has been there all along, written in the smallest details, hidden in the silences, and waiting for you to finally notice. Now, if everything I just described is already happening in your life, you need to know what comes next, because there's a second layer to a woman's silent signals, and it involves something even more instinctive than anything I've covered today. It involves touch, and not the kind of touch you're thinking of. There's a specific thing a woman touches unconsciously repeatedly when she's in the presence of a man she truly wants. And the moment you learn to recognise it, you'll never second-guess a woman's interest again. That video is on your screen right now. It's called If a Woman Touches This in Front of You, She Really Likes You. Go watch it immediately, because it's the perfect continuation of everything you just learned. And together, these two videos will give you a level of awareness that most men spend their entire lives without. Tap it now. I'll see you there.